First up, can you explain the sharp drop that we've seen in the margins? Consolidated margins, they've come in at 14% versus 20.7%, and this is more pronounced in the telecom segment. What can you guide for in terms of margin improvement going forward?
So, one thing I would like to share that last year we had an exceptional item in our accounts. So that is one of the element responsible for this sharp decline you have seen. Otherwise, we were anticipating this kind of results because of our project business, which we are working with lower margins in comparison to telecom margins. So that is one factor which I see. The other factor would be the lower margin, and the other one is the last year exceptional item, and third one is, of course, there is increasing competition in project business.
But that's visible in the project business margins, which have now come in at just about 4%. So because of increasing competition, are you trying to say that there could be further pressure in the project business margins? And on an average, what do you think the growth rate could look like, as well as the margins, particularly for the project business?
So project business, we are already working, I think, at the lowest, but I don't see that this margin we are targeting. So certainly we'll have to reorient our, maybe fine tune our studies so that we don't go further below. Maybe we don't take such orders where margins are lower or competition we have to see, because ultimately it is the bottom line which matters for the equity holders.
Kumar, are you actively doing that? Are you trying to take orders within the project segment which would possibly be at higher margins? Are you avoiding bidding for those lower margin projects? Is that actively taking place?
See, naturally, we have to study the project business, where we are bidding, we are going to bid. So this is normally what projects we take. Sometimes they are purely non-telco IT projects. Sometimes they are projects which have elements of telecom, data center, and IT element in it. So we naturally would like to have such projects if they are already in the market, which have all the three elements, so that we have an edge in margin, in increasing margin, because that will come from telecom side. So of course that will be our priority, but then there will be one bar below which we will not take any project, just for taking the project for the sake.
We'll talk about that bar and the outlook that you have for this year in just a bit. But you said that there was a fair amount of competition, and understandably, perhaps because the railway has opened the infrastructure sharing to private players, as a result of which margins have compressed in the industry itself. But the bigger thing is that you pay 7% royalty as of your overall revenue to the railways, and now that they've opened it up to other players as well, you are discussing with the railways on that renegotiation of the 7% royalty that you pay. Can you give us a sense of what those discussions have been so far, and is there a chance that this would be reduced?
So let me first clarify one fact which you have mentioned, that railways have stopped giving works on nomination. So let me tell you that only 13 to 14% is the revenue which we are earning from railways. Remaining revenues is either coming from private or retail business, or the other non-railway government entities. So that is one. Second part which you talked about is 7% royalty which we are saying to paying to the railways. So there are many elements. It's not only right of way, and of course it will take some time. We have started preparing. I'm not aware to what extent, because see, right of way giving, making non-exclusive did not affect our business to any extent. I would say there is no effect of opening the right of way on our business. So this is, and whatever gains we get out of this discussion with railways will certainly benefit RailTel because earlier we were paying 7%, even if we get some advantage out of. So those discussions are still in primary stage. First, we are discussing internally, and then we will take up with the Ministry of Railway. So I will not comment upon this. I think this would be too premature to comment on that.
Okay, on the telecom services business, just wanted to come back to that. Earlier, there was a time when you had about 25, 28% margins as well. Is there any scope to return to that anytime soon? And what would the ballpark number be in terms of margins and growth, particularly for telecom, say in FY24 and 25?
So telecom business, yes, we had previous years, we had constraints on our capacities. Now we have upgraded our capacities from 800 gigabit to 8 terabyte capacity, and we will have capacities available for offering to the customers. There were delays last year. So telecom business, there was a reason for growth, which is we were not expecting this much. Now I'm sure that this year onwards, we will be gaining momentum. And in the years to come, certainly we will focus on telecom business as well.
Okay. So,
and as far as margin is concerned, telecom business is also under pressure, have been pressure there from previous years as well. But there'll not be, I don't see that there's going to be any big gains on the EBITDA side, but still we will continue to maintain at least the present percentage, and maybe there may be some slight improvement.
okay. Well, I'm not going to hold you on to any numbers, but just based on what you've achieved in this year, it's around a 25% growth on a year-on-year basis. Do you think that you could probably replicate that, get closer to around 2,500 crores in FY24 when it comes to your revenue, and comfortably get past 200 crores when it comes to profit, something which has dipped year-on-year, not your revenue, but your profit?
I think whatever you said is going to be there. We are going to achieve those numbers, 2,500 in terms of revenues. I don't see any challenge. And profit also, I don't see any challenge in crossing 200 crores.
And just on the margin front, you said that while there might not be a significant improvement, you'll hold on to the margins at current levels. What do you mean when you say current levels? Because fourth quarter margins were 14%. Full year basis, the margins were around 19%. And the reason why I ask you this is because a couple of years ago, your margins were closer to 30%. You used to guide for, 28 to 30% band in the telecom business. That fell to around 25 to 30%. That fell to 20 to 25%. Now that's sub 20%.
Telecom margin, I think, is around 33%. 33% this year. So there was a little dip in telecom margin, but majority it has come down because of project business, especially in Q4, because Q4 was project heavy. We have more revenues from project. So that may be the reason that 14% you see in Q4. But overall, we have been there in 20%, close to 20%.
So around 20% is a reasonable thing that we should be looking at, right?
Yes, that will be the guidance for the coming year, coming quarters.
Okay. Can you just give us an updated figure? Sure. Can you give us an updated figure on the order book? 5,000 crores, I think, was what you ended Q3 with. What is it right now? And what's the order visibility like over the next 12 to 18 months?
So at the moment, we have around 4,500 plus crores order book with us. And I believe we will be receiving another minimum 1,500 or maybe more orders in the coming this year, present, at least.
Okay.